My name is Judy Tolar. I live in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Went to college there a few decades back and have been back in Stillwater for more than 35 years. It's a wonderful college town. It's a very inspiring place to live. I have been an artist, I think, my whole life, though I didn't know to call myself that until I was grown and out of college. I've always liked to draw. I've always liked color. I've always liked patterns and designs and shapes of things. When I finished college, I learned about graphic design because I didn't think I wanted to be a starving artist, which I thought your choices were starving artist or teach art, and I didn't know anything about teaching, so I thought neither of those sounded very good, but I did learn about graphic design, and that was what I spent most of my adult career doing. Logos. My first job was as the staff artist for the library system in Oklahoma County. We had an in-house art department to produce all the bookmarks, posters, flyers, annual report. It was a lot of fun. I love to read, so it was a great place to work and to learn all about that. We even had our own printing press, and so I learned how to do offset printing. I then started focusing more on illustration. I really like the illustrations you see in books and magazines, and I went back to school in my early 30s at the University of Oklahoma and took fine arts and illustration classes. One of the people, John Goodell, is an illustrator who influenced me a great deal, as well as an illustrator that some of you may know. It's Mike Wimmer. He has a number of paintings in the State Capitol building, and he's just, that whole group of illustrators are just amazing. In any case, I learned a lot about illustration and did quite a bit of that along with graphic design as I freelanced for years and years and years. I illustrated and even wrote some children's picture books, just a lot of fun. And in the process of doing that, I don't know, I just always loved illustration. I loved working with color. And when I retired from that, I knew I needed to keep my hand, I wanted to keep my hand in with the drawing. I loved to work from life. So I made a commitment to just make sure I drew something every week from life. And I gathered some friends together to do the same thing. And from that, I've stumbled into meeting so many artists who also work from life, and some who work in pastel. We have an arts center and an art guild in Stillwater, very similar to Graceful Arts Center here in Alva, and watched a demo with Becky Way, who's a pastel artist in the Oklahoma City area. Fabulous, fascinating to see what she could do. And I'd been using pastels some outdoors as a way to study color because they're very portable and they're easy to use. And from her I learned about using really good pastels that they make now that are basically pure pigment and sanded paper, which allows you to do more than a drawing, to really get in there and layer and glaze and scumble and just create a painting, which I had no idea that even existed. That's the beauty of a community art center and an art group and artist friends. You just learn so much. So that became my focus in retirement, was painting with pastels and painting from life, and mainly outdoors. I love being outdoors. I love nature. I find beauty in the smallest things, from a ladybug to the beautiful thunderheads that David Holland, who's in the show also, the thunderheads that he paints. I just love it all, and I've found that pastels are a way that I can convey my appreciation of all of those things. I mean, the world is a wondrous place to me, And that's what I focus on, and I'm hopeful that my paintings then inspire someone else to, oh, look around and notice the color of the winter grasses. The blue stem turns a russet color in the winter, and it's beautiful. Yes, we're missing greens and the other colors we get in the summer, but winter gives other things a chance to shine. Driving here from Stillwater today was 2.5 hours. It was so fun to look at all the bare trees and the shapes that they are. You know, different species and different shapes, and without the foliage on them, you get a real sense of those branches. And so I'm filing notes in my head of trees I'd like to come back and paint. I've even painted the Ingersoll washout, which is east of town. I think it's the most interesting building, and I love old graphics, hand-painted graphics on the sides of places. So that's a place that I've spent some time and painted. I love it. I guess I paint them to say, hey, have you seen this too? Isn't this a cool thing? That's sort of the purpose of my paintings. I do it just to express my joy in what I see out there. I've studied extensively with Clive Tolar, who is a fabulous pastel artist who lives in Taos, New Mexico. He's taught me a great deal about not only pastel painting, but about how to be an artist and how to think about being an artist and how to relate my art to the world around me. And I'm very grateful to him and to others, including the Oklahoma Pastel Society, for just helping me with learning how to be more than I ever thought I could be. It's amazing. I mentioned Mike Wimmer earlier. He's an illustrator. We were at his house a few years ago, 10 or 12, a number of years ago, for a gathering, and that's where we met David Holland, and that's who I'm showing with in this show. Amazing. We talked art and talked about clouds, and we've just been friends ever since. I think we have a very similar reverence for the natural world and what's out there. So when he invited me to show with him, I jumped at the chance to do so. His work is amazing. I think our work complements each other, and he's also just a really, really, really nice person. So the cliche of, oh, artists are so temperamental, no, not so much. It's not so much. So a lot of the paintings that I are showing in this show, I painted. Some I had already done, but I also chose paintings that I thought would complement the work that he does. We talked about this. He came up with the title as Driven by Color and Light. We both love color, and because color is what describes light. Light isn't just white or it isn't just yellow. It's many colors, and it brings color to life. So I looked through paintings that I thought conveyed that the best, and I specifically painted some beach seascapes for this that I thought might address or be like a response to his cloudscapes, which were just so much fun to paint. And he sort of does the skies, and I do mainly what's on the growing in the earth below. I have a lot of florals in there that I mostly paint outdoors from life. Sometimes I have to weight down my easel. The other day we had those horrible winds and had to weight down my easel, and I was actually painting a vase of flowers that I took outside, and it was so windy. The wind blew the vase of daffodils off the table. They didn't break. It was on a wooden deck, but it's just like, okay. That's the sort of thing that happens when you're outdoors. But it's okay. I mean, they all survived. Even the vase survived, and just kept on painting. because it's worth it to me to do it out in that environment where they grow. I think it's just, for me, I connect better with them. But I also have fun in the studio with the beachscapes, and I have a large iris painting in the show that, it's like 2 feet by 3 feet, which I painted in the studio, but it's based on a smaller plein air painting that I did. Pastels are just my favorite medium. They're very portable, they're easy to use. You open the box and here are all those colors. It's like a box of candy is what they are often referred to as looking like. And I just haven't looked back. I've painted in watercolor and acrylics and oils and just about every medium. But this, to me, I don't know, maybe because I'm holding those rather than using a brush. I'm not that great with a brush. But pastels, they really connect for me. And I'm really excited with seeing how David's paintings and mine seem to do well together. And of course, the gallery has hung them so beautifully that they've just made them shine. I do have, I will tell you that I paint regularly. I teach workshops and give demos, and I love to show my work. I have a website, which is just looks like Jude, JUDETOLAR.com. And I'm also on Instagram, and again, it's just my name. Someone stole my Facebook page, so unless I ever get Facebook to return that to me, I'm just using Instagram in the meantime. But hope you have a chance to see the show. I think you'll enjoy it. Maybe it'll inspire you to look at the sky a little closer next time you're out. Okay, thank you.